What if a single item from the past could change your life forever? When Emma stumbles upon an old sparkling necklace, she thinks it's nothing more than a forgotten relic, but when she wears it, she unknowingly awakens a dark royal curse that's been waiting for centuries. Now, with strange visions, mysterious whispers, and shadowy figures closing in on her, Emma must uncover the necklace's deadly secret before it consumes her. And everyone she loves, will she break the curse, or will the past pull her into its deadly grip? It's typical uneventful afternoon for Emma, high school student living in quiet suburban neighborhood. She's just returned from school, the sound of birds chirping and the faint scent of freshly cut grass filling the air. Life feels routine, almost dull. As Emma enters her house, the doorbell rings. She opens the door to find small, neatly packaged box left on the doorstep. It's an unexpected delivery and there's no return address. At first she assumes it's a mistake or a wrong address or package meant for someone else. But curiosity gets the better of her. She picks it up and heads inside. After quickly tearing off the packaging, Emma reveals the contents. An old delicate necklace, its beautiful piece almost otherworldly with an intricate design and gem that catches the light in an eerie way. She runs her fingers over its cool surface, feeling strange sensation, almost as if it's calling to her. It's an odd yet subtle feeling, but Emma shrugs it off. She assumes it's simply an antique, perhaps gift for someone. There's no note or clue about who might have sent it. As Emma examines the necklace more closely, she starts to feel uneasy. The room grows slightly colder, faint sense of unease settling over her. Her phone buzzes, snapping her out of her trance. She decides to put the necklace aside for now, but part of her is inexplicably drawn to it. The ordinary moment has slowly begun to feel off. Little does Emma note the seemingly innocent delivery is only the beginning of something much darker. The necklace has history, one that will soon pull her into a world of mystery and danger. And as she heads to bed that night, the necklace continues to linger in her thoughts. That night, as she drifts into restless sleep, Emma's dreams take bizarre turn. The next morning, Emma feels a strange weight hanging over her. As if something from her dreams has followed her into the waking world, she notices the necklace still resting on her desk, its sparkling jewel reflecting light in an almost hypnotic way. Despite her growing unease, she can't resist putting it on again. The moment it touches her skin, jolt runs through her, a brief flash of something ancient and powerful. At school, Emma feels oddly disconnected, like she's floating through the day. When she touches the necklace, she experiences flashes of regal woman in long gowns surrounded by gold and velvet. It's as though the necklace is trying to communicate with her, but in a way that's just out of reach. That night, her dreams intensify. She finds herself in grand, dimly lit ballroom, facing a woman who wears the same necklace. The woman's face is shrouded, but Emma senses an unsettling energy emanating from her. The dreams are becoming more vivid, royal figures, whispers of tragic history, and powerful curse that hangs over the family tied to the necklace. Each morning, Emma wakes up with feeling of dread, but she can't stop wearing the necklace. Her connection to it deepens, and with each passing day, the line between dream and reality blurs. Their strange pull, an undeniable need to uncover the truth, even though she's terrified of what it might reveal. The next morning, Emma feels a strange weight hanging over her. As if something from her dreams has followed her into the waking world, she notices the necklace still resting on her desk, its sparkling jewel reflecting light in an almost hypnotic way. Despite her growing unease, she can't resist putting it on again. The moment it touches her skin, jolt runs through her, a brief flash of something ancient and powerful. At school, Emma feels oddly disconnected, like she's floating through the day. When she touches the necklace, she experiences flashes of regal woman in long gowns surrounded by gold and velvet. It's as though the necklace is trying to communicate with her, but in a way that's just out of reach. That night, her dreams intensify. She finds herself in grand, dimly lit ballroom, facing a woman who wears the same necklace. The woman's face is shrouded, but Emma senses an unsettling energy emanating from her. The dreams are becoming more vivid, royal figures, whispers of tragic history, and powerful curse that hangs over the family tied to the necklace. Each morning, Emma wakes up with feeling of dread, but she can't stop wearing the necklace. Her connection to it deepens, and with each passing day, the line between dream and reality blurs. Their strange pull, an undeniable need to uncover the truth, even though she's terrified of what it might reveal. And next afternoon, Emma visits her grandmother, hoping for some answers about the necklace. Her grandmother, a quiet, gentle woman with a wealth of old stories, is shocked when Emma shows her the necklace. The moment she touches it, her expression changes. Her fingers tremble as she holds the necklace up to the light, eyes wide with fear. She's silent for a moment, then looks at Emma gravely. That necklace, her grandmother begins, was once owned by a royal family whose legacy was destroyed by terrible curse. It was said that whoever wore it would be marked for tragic fate tied to the downfall of their bloodline. Her voice falters as she speaks of history Emma has never heard of. Story of betrayal, death, and the mysterious disappearance of the family who once ruled. Her grandmother urges Emma to take the necklace off and never wear it again, but Emma's curiosity only deepens. The connection she feels to it is too strong, too consuming. Back home, Emma spends hours researching the royal family her grandmother mentioned. She uncovers old portraits and cryptic writings that seem to confirm the story. long-lost family who once ruled over an ancient kingdom. The more she learns, the more unsettling it becomes. The necklace was the family's most prized possession, and many believe it holds the key to their tragic end. Emma begins to see shadows lurking at the edges of her vision. The once familiar comfort of her home now feels distant, colder. Is it the necklace drawing her into the family's dark past, or is something else happening? Emma's growing obsession with the necklace makes her realize she can't ignore it any longer. Emma's obsession with the necklace deepens, and she begins to notice strange occurrences around her. At night, her dreams grow darker. Long hallways, cold stone walls, and whispers she can't understand. The necklace pulses with faint light, almost like heartbeat. The once ordinary sights and sounds of her home now seem ominous. The creak of floorboards, the rustle of curtains, and the distant sound of footsteps echoing in the quiet house unsettle her. No one else seems to notice, but Emma feels it. There's something in the house, something that wasn't there before. One evening, while sitting alone in her room, Emma spots something through the window. Shadowy figure standing in her front yard. It's difficult to make out the details, but the silhouette is unmistakably human. She races downstairs to investigate, but when she opens the door, there's nothing there. The air outside feels unusually cold, and she can't shake the feeling that she's being watched. As the days pass, the presence grows stronger. Emma hears noises in the walls, and sometimes she can see fleeting glimpses of people out of the corner of her eye. She starts to lose track of time, finding herself in places she doesn't remember walking to. Her once peaceful life is crumbling under the weight of the necklace's curse, and she realizes it's not just a historical relic. It's pulling her into something far darker. Determined to uncover the truth, Emma seeks out an expert, historian specializing in ancient curses in royal families. She learns that the necklace was said to be part of ritual that bound its wearer to the spirit of the royal family, giving them unimaginable power, but at terrible cost. The curse is alive, and is coming for Emma. As the tension mounts, Emma begins to question her sanity. The occurrences intensify. Objects move by themselves. Shadows seem to shift when she isn't looking, and whispers haunt her as she tries to sleep. She can no longer tell whether it's the necklace or her mind unraveling. The historian's words echo in her head. The curse is real, and it's controlling her. Desperate for answers, Emma delves into every available source she can find about the necklace. She uncovers horrifying truth. The curse is not just tied to the royal family's fall, but to every person who has ever worn the necklace. Each one is doomed to suffer the same fate, to become pawn in greater supernatural force that seeks to reclaim the royal bloodline. The necklace's power is growing, and Emma feels it tightening around her like noose. One night, as she examines the necklace under dim light, the room goes cold. The whispers grow louder, clear. She sees visions of the past, the royal family's destruction, their betrayal, and the haunting final moments of their reign. The spirit of the queen, whose presence Emma has felt since the first night, appears in the corner of her room, her face twisted with rage and sorrow. The queen's eyes lock onto Emma, and in that instant, Emma understands. She is the next target. Terror grips her as she realizes that the necklace is not just relic, it's alive, and it will stop at nothing to claim her as its next victim. The fear is overwhelming, but Emma knows she must act quickly before it's too late. She has to find a way to break the curse before the necklace consumes her completely. Emma's desperation reaches its peak as the curse begins to consume her life completely. No longer able to distinguish between the real world and the hallucinations created by the necklace, she isolates herself from friends and family, fearing that anyone who comes near her will be dragged into the nightmare. The shadowy figures have become more aggressive, and the ghostly whispers now call her name, echoing through her mind even when she's alone. In final attempt to end the curse, Emma revisits the historian, hoping he has a solution. He reveals an ancient ritual, an act of pure self-sacrifice that could sever the bond between her and the necklace. However, the ritual is dangerous. It requires the person wearing the cursed object to face the spirit that binds them to it and willingly offer part of their soul. The ritual has never been attempted in modern times, and the historian warns her that failure could result in permanent possession. Determined to stop the necklace from taking over her completely, Emma agrees to perform the ritual. That night, she prepares herself, feeling the weight of the necklace around her neck like an anchor pulling her into dark abyss. As she recites the incantations, the room grows colder and the queen's spirit manifests, her anger palpable in the air. Emma faces the terrifying apparition, the weight of the curse pressing down on her as she tries to maintain control. The queen's voice fills the room, pleading with Emma to join her in eternal servitude. But Emma, fueled by fear and desperate will to survive, refuses. As she completes the final words of the ritual, the necklace begins to glow, its power fluctuating, and Emma braces herself for the unknown. As Emma speaks the final words of the ritual, the necklace pulses with a blinding light. The queen's spirit lets out a terrifying scream, its presence intensifying as it claws at Emma's very soul. For a brief moment, Emma feels as though she's being torn apart, her mind splitting between the real world and the dark, twisted past of the royal family. The room shakes violently, and Emma's vision blurs, but her resolve holds firm. She focuses on one thing: breaking free. With final heart-stopping flash of light, the world around her goes silent. The oppressive weight lifts from her chest, and the room feels warmer. Emma collapses to the floor, gasping for air. The necklace, once glowing with an otherworldly energy, now lies still and lifeless in her hand. The ghostly whispers stop, and the shadows that had tormented her vanish. She feels a sense of peace for the first time in weeks, but as Emma looks around the room, something doesn't feel quite right. The Queen's presence is gone, but there's an unsettling silence that fills the space, as if the darkness is still lingering just beyond her reach. Emma thinks she's finally free, but lingering sense of dread settles deep in her bones. Later, as she tries to return to her normal life, Emma begins to notice strange changes. Her reflection in the mirror looks slightly different. Her eyes seem colder, her expression more distant. The peace she thought she'd earned begins to slip away. Emma wonders if, in breaking the curse, she's also bound herself to something far worse. Days pass, and Emma tries to resume her life, but she quickly realizes that the curse isn't as easily broken as she thought. Though the necklace is no longer around her neck, its influence lingers in ways she can't explain. Her reflection seems to shift when she's not looking directly at it, and the once familiar sounds of her home now feel eerie and distorted. She's constantly on edge, as though the darkness is still watching her from the shadows. Emma begins to hear whispers again, faint at first like distant murmur, but they grow louder as the days go by. They're not from the Queen's spirit this time, but collective voice. Group of lost souls trapped by the necklace's curse. It becomes impossible to ignore. The closer she gets to these voices, the more detached she feels from reality. Emma starts to lose track of time, wandering through her house at odd hours, only to find herself standing in places she doesn't remember walking to. One night she experiences a chilling event. A figure cloaked in shadows appears before her in the hallway. It's not the Queen, but someone, or something, much darker. It whispers her name, and Emma feels strange pull toward it, as if she's being called to join it in some unseen world. The creature offers her power, eternal life, but Emma refuses, shaking with fear. She realizes that the curse has merely evolved. The necklace may be gone, but the entity it awakened has now taken new form, one that won't rest until Emma fully surrenders herself. Emma is now fully aware that the curse is far from over. The entity that the necklace awakened has taken root in her life, growing stronger with each passing day. The once familiar world around her is now distorted by shadows and whispers, and Emma feels as if she's constantly being watched. Her attempts to live normal life have failed, as every corner of her home feels tainted by the lingering darkness. The figure that appeared in the hallway continues to haunt her, its presence growing stronger. It's clear now that this is not just simple haunting. This entity wants something from her. Desperation sets in. Emma reaches out to the historian one last time, hoping for solution, but he is no help. He warns her that the entity is not bound to the necklace anymore, but is now tied to her soul. The only way to break the curse is to confront it head-on in the place where it first gained power, the royal ruins, deep within the ancient kingdom, where the royal family perished. There, Emma must make final choice: destroy the entity once and for all, or give in to its power and let it consume her. Torn between fear and the need to break free, Emma travels to the ruins. The journey is harrowing, and the closer she gets, the stronger the entity's pull becomes. At the ruins, she faces the final test: confront the entity's true form and destroy it, or let it claim her as its own. The air is thick with the power of the curse, and Emma realizes that the choice isn't just about survival. It's about whether she will be remembered as Hyo, who broke the cycle, or another lost soul to the entity's power.